Доброго дня, пані та панове. Вітаємо вас в Українському кризовому медіа-центрі. Зараз відбудеться прес-брифінг заступника керівника інформаційно-аналітичного центру РНБО України Володимира Полевого. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ukraine Crisis Media Center. We are having a press briefing by the Deputy Chief of the Information and Analytical Center of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine, Volodymyr Polevyi.
Good afternoon. The situation in the zone of the anti-terrorist operation remains tense. The militants continue to shell the positions of Ukrainian forces on the Debaltsevo, Donetsk, Luhansk, Mariupol directions and along the Bakhmutivka highway. The number of shellings is not changing. Significantly, however, there are differences in the intensity of shellings in different directions. For instance, in the region of Debaltsevo, the militants have more than once delivered hits on the positions of Ukrainian military from Grad batteries in the vicinity of Debaltsevo, Orlovo-Ivanivka village and settlements Olenivka and Olkhovatka. The terrorists have shelled from artillery our road checkpoints and positions in the vicinity of the city of Vuhlegirsk and villages of Novogrigorivka and Mius, and from mortars next to the settlement Chornukhino. Our military are firing in response. 28 times Ukrainians fired in response, and the militants are sustaining heavy losses that makes them constantly change their positions. In Donetsk direction, over the last 24 hours, the militants from mortars, anti-aircraft artillery, grenade launchers and artillery have shelled the positions of Ukrainian forces in the vicinity of cities Avdiivka and Krasnogorivka, settlements Opytne, Vesele, Piski, Tunenka, and Nevelska. The defenders of the Donetsk airport continue to hold this object under control. In Lugansk direction, the terrorists from the Grad batteries have shelled the command point and observation points of our military in the suburb of the city of Shasta. The militants have also shelled from tanks, artillery, grenade launchers, and mortars, and fired from sniper weapons on the positions of the anti-terrorist operation next to the settlements Stenlitsa, Luhanska, Trokhizbenka, Olkhove, Sokilniki. Along the Bakhmutivka highway, the terrorists have shelled from mortars the positions of the National Guards next to the settlement Krymske. The anti-terrorist operation forces are providing an adequate response. On Mariupol direction yesterday, in general, it was relatively calmer than in the north. The terrorists from Grad batteries have fired at the positions of Ukrainian military next to this settlement of Pavlopol, and they have also from mortars shelled our positions next to the village of Mykolaievka and Chermalik. There are no information about the losses among Ukrainian military. There were no combat clashes on the border beyond the boundaries of the zone of the anti-terrorist operation. Yesterday at 5:40 p.m. at the control point Chaplinka of Kherson region, the flight of 2 drones was detected. They were moving at the height up to 1 kilometer. Yesterday, on the liberated territories of Donbass, as in other regions of Ukraine, there were events to commemorate the memory of these victims of Volodymyr, of artificial famines. In particular, the mourning actions events took place in Slovyansk and Kramatorsk. People not only remembered the victims of the tragedy, but also expressed regret that because of the actions of Russia, their compatriots are facing the threat of famine now. Today, in a number of populated centers captured by terrorists, local residents are going to hold protest events in front of administrative buildings. In particular, people are demanding from the militants to provide for the payment of pensions and hand out humanitarian aid. There's also information that this video was shot yesterday by observation camera in Donetsk. On it you see how two artillery pieces are moving after a white painted truck. And it is evident that there's no humanitarian aid, some chocolates in the white truck. So it corroborates that the so-called humanitarian convoys do not bring actually humanitarian help. However, the delivery of humanitarian help from the districts controlled by the Ukrainian Authority to the territories temporarily controlled by the militants is difficult because the militants refuse to accept such cargoes and guarantee they are handed out to people. Over the last 24 hours in the regions of Ukraine, temporarily placed were 2,253 people who moved from the zone of anti-terrorist operation, including 448 people. In general, from Donbass, almost 458,000 people were resettled, including over 124,000 people, 92,000 disabled and senior citizens. From the occupied Crimea, 19.5 thousand people moved, including yesterday 21 persons. Over the last 24 hours, the pyrotechnical units of the state's emergency service have detected and defused 273 units of munition, among them 7 artillery projectiles, 4 mortar mines, 14 combat grenades and mines, and 248 other explosive objects. 4.2 hectares of territory was searched. There are questions. Could you be more precise whether at the moment, or probably this morning, there were combat clashes, or are they going at the moment? Taking into account the number of shellings that happen every day, we may say that such shellings were were there this morning, and maybe they continue to happen even now. There are no questions anymore. Thank you for your attention.
Все, дякую, на все добре.